Hello beautiful friends, my name is Katie and today's video is part 2 of DIYing a fabulous wardrobe inspired by free people. If you want to see part 1 of this series, click the card up above, and if you love making someone's day and being awesome, hit the thumbs up button. It'll be down there somewhere, and if you're not subscribed, hit that too. You know, they're both next to each other and it's free and awesome and would mean so much to me. I would love to have you guys as part of my DIY crew. For today's video, we are actually going to be making this sweatshirt, and this is one where I feel awesome about this tutorial because as I was clicking through Free People's website, I came across a sweater that I couldn't find anywhere on their website, which means that it must have already sold out, and I was super disappointed because I was like, ugh, that sweatshirt is so cute and perfect. And then I remembered that I had gotten a bunch of sweatshirts for free when I was looking through Facebook Marketplace. Someone was doing the whole,
we have a bunch of stuff left over at our yard sale and we don't want it, so come and get it. And then when I showed up, the lady was sitting there awkwardly and I was like, should I pay this lady? But I don't really want to pay this lady because she said it was free.
I got a bunch of free sweatshirts and this is one of them. So let's go. Here's my free sweatshirt. You can see it's a little bit oversized and it does have a logo on it that I knew that I would have to get rid of. First, I'm going to cut off the bottom of the sweatshirt. That way the entire sweatshirt can be laid flat. So I can mark out a section so that I can cut off that logo. At first I was like, I should cut out equal portions of the sweatshirt. And also I'm not good at drawing straight lines apparently. They were all kinds of crooked when I first did this. But I was going to do both sides of the sweatshirt. But then I thought like, well, maybe that'll make the sweatshirt too small and make it fit really awkwardly. So that is why I decided in the end to only cut out one part of this sweatshirt. But then I did a straight stitch all the way down on this, and now I'm going to reattach this neck collar piece, and the way to reattach it is to quarter it. So you're going to match that up with the side seams on the sweatshirt, and this top portion actually stretches a lot, so as I'm sewing I'm lightly pulling it to make that top seam match the bottom portions of the sweatshirt. And this is just plain magic. I don't know why this works, I don't know how this works, because in my mind I was like, well, this top of the sweater is going to be super stretched out and it's not going to look good, but somehow it works with perfection. I don't understand, but it's awesome. And then after I did the inside seam, I decided to do a top stitch all the way around. For the bottom of the sweatshirt, I did actually cut out about a 2-inch section just because the sweatshirt was so long. And then I also cut a little bit out of the bottom just to make it a little bit smaller, but I'm going to do the same method of just quartering this all the way around, go back to my sewing machine and just lightly pull on this to make it even all the way across. And I'm just using a straight stitch. I'm not doing anything fancy here. Luckily, sweatshirt material does not fray, so you don't have to worry about doing a zigzag stitch and everything like that. You can if you want to, but I decided not to. So now that I have that logo taken out and the length changed, the arms are just way too long still. I'm very petite and these just didn't fit, and this was not a good kind of oversized. So I'm going to cut both of the cuffs off of the sweatshirt arms, and then I'm going to lay it flat and cut again about a 2-inch section off to make it a little bit shorter so that you can see my arms again. And these cuffs are too large, so I'm going to do the same thing where I open up the cuff area and then sew a straight stitch down to make it a little bit smaller. And again, we're just going to quarter this. And this is the part where you might feel like you're making a mistake because there was definitely a lot more material on the sweatshirt versus the cuff. It worked out so well. It looks nice and puffy. You can't even tell that I had changed it. It is just pure perfection. So I think the model is like this, something like that.
This is me, I'm so royal, and you all wanna be round. Yeah, you all wanna be round. Round a champion, a champion. I got tons of soul on my true collective ball. Famous, so famous, #1 desirable.
Alrighty then, that is all for the actual tutorial portion. I will say this one, it's hard to see in the camera because it is such a dark green color. The neckline actually came out a lot better than I thought since I only did the decorative stitch on one side and not both sides. I was gonna cut it out of both sides, and then in my brain I was like, that's just too complicated, I can't do it. So that is why I chose to only cut it out of one side. And then I did have to add a pinch back here because the sweater was just too big overall without actually taking more out of it. But I really like how it turned out. I like that it's nice and big and oversized, and that the sleeves are nice and poofy. Now in the original one on the picture, they had a seam right here, which I think I could add later if I so choose to give it more of a poof effect. But this thing is so comfy to wear, and obviously if you're into super crop sweaters, you could crop it more. I took a little bit off the length of this just because it was so long, but I kind of regret it because I don't really love crop top things. So I'm sitting here like debating it, but at least when I raise my arms, you can't totally see my stomach, so I think it's still a win. In terms of difficulty, I want to say that this project is so much simpler than even I thought it would be. I've never actually cut into a sweatshirt because I was definitely afraid, like, no, it's not gonna work, it's gonna look awful, don't do it. But then once I started actually cutting into it, super easy, and I can't believe I've never done this before, because a lot of the things like the collar lining and then also the sleeves, they have a lot of stretch and forgiveness in them, because obviously a lot of these parts have gathering, so if you mess up, no one can even tell. Only you would be able to tell. So if you're afraid of upcycling sweatshirts and actually putting the finishing details back on, because obviously it's pretty easy just to like crop it and not add anything back on because this material doesn't fray, which is awesome. But if you do want to actually finish it again, you totally can, and nobody can tell that you've done any DIYs to it because it just goes back together super easy. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!